Contract extension. Alford, former Bob Knight point guard, won a championship as a player in '87. Takes over at UCLA, 7 years. He'll make $2.6 per as he takes over for Ben Howland. Now look at the two guys stacked side by side. Now there are a lot of extenuating circumstances in terms of momentum turning in the last couple of years against Howland, but more NCAA appearances, better record in the tournament, 3 Final Fours. Alford hasn't been even to the Sweet 16 since he was at Missouri State. That's not to imply he's not a fine coach. It just means that perhaps not the same level of accomplishment, at least at this juncture, that Ben Howland has had. Steve Alford going to take over a difficult job in Westwood. Dick, what do you think of the Bruins' decision to put Alford in charge?
Well, you know, we talked about it last night, Reese. Certainly, in my opinion, didn't change like Steve's did in terms of taking the UCLA job after agreeing to a 10-year agreement. Bottom line is, we talked about it last night, about integrity, about loyalty, about college presidents out there preaching all that, giving us all that morality talk, but then they go out and they raid schools where guys have contract extensions. You know what I would do? If I was an AD, I'm going to tell you, Reese Davis, I'm going to let you dream now. You're coaching for me. You're a terrific coach. I love you so much. I walk in your office and I say, Reese, I'm going to give you a 10-year extension. But I'm telling you now, Reese, don't come to me and say you want to leave, because I'm not going to let you leave. And the argument that, oh, you don't want somebody that's going to be unhappy, I haven't met a coach yet that doesn't want to win and has a lot of pride and doesn't want to be fired. So you would coach your heart out and win. But I'm telling you, I would love you, and that's what the AD should have done in New Mexico. Hey, Steve, we're going to sign you to a 10-year extension, but don't come to me and tell me you want to leave. I question the presidents, the integrity, the loyalty, going after guys that have ironclad. What is a contract? A contract is almost meaningless. It's almost absolutely zilch. And I think that is sad. Yet a player decides, I want to transfer. Oh, really? He's a bad kid. He can't mix in. You hear all the little vibes, the little conversations off the record. And the bottom line is that player has to sit a year out. The coach, he goes to a new country club. He goes to a new deal. I say it's sad, and something should be done. And I also was told that they didn't even ask for permission. According to you read the reports, the AD down there, Jay, said they didn't ask for permission to even talk to him. I mean, that is really, don't get me started. I could go on and on. I turn it over to you, Jay. Hit him up with another one.
Well, I think you're right, Dick. And the fact that UCLA did not ask for permission, if that is in fact true, I think is another black mark on this entire process. Look, I get the whole course of dealing, and this is how the business has worked for a long time. My only point is that in most contracts, and most contract dealings in any other business, one entity luring away with an offer someone who is under contract would be deemed tortious interference with contract and would line them up to be sued for damages. In any other business, that's what we're looking at. And although basketball, football, in college, this has been a course of dealing issue, what I would like to see happen is the presidents stop preaching to us, stop moralizing about integrity and telling us how much integrity we need to have when you guys don't show any of your own. You know, you're rating, as Dick says, rating another school of its coach when they are under contract. Steve just agreed to a 10-year deal and said publicly, this is where I want to be. Well, clearly it isn't where you want to be. And it wasn't like they fired him or he decided, you know what, I'm leaving New Mexico, and then UCLA came to him. He left because they gave him an offer. And I think the way the presidents handle this is wrong. They could clean it up if they wanted to. You don't see that happen in the NBA or the NFL. That's not allowed. That is not allowed. And it could be disallowed in colleges if the presidents would show some integrity of their own and decide we are not doing this to our fellow member institutions. But they're not going to do that.
And perhaps also if someone were actually in charge.
Exactly.
Because you start looking around, who's in charge? Nobody knows, so everybody's out there sort of in
But you can't expect people to know what's going on the shop. How can they know what's going on? The president can't know what's going on the shop floor, what his AD's doing with basketball and football. That's the shop floor.
You're thinking are you implying there's a caste system?
I am implying there's some hypocrisy in the system.
I don't think you're implying
I'm actually not implying it. I'm saying it.
Flat said it, didn't you?
They are now hypocrites.
Hey, you want to find a guy that's shown loyalty to his school? Jim Boeheim, going back to the Final Four.